Hello, welcome to the Culture Quarter. I'm Siobhan Heanue. Coming up on this episode, a pigeon pair. The global search for a matching Matisse ends happily for an Australian gallery.
I think it's actually got to come from here. It's fun being able to do something like this, in particular to help the National Gallery.
But first, it seems that everyone has a camera in their pocket these days, but it still takes a special talent to be able to snap that powerful photo. That's a skill that the National Photographic Portrait Prize aims to honour. The prize is worth $25,000 and it's fiercely contested. This year, the National Portrait Gallery received 1,500 entries. If a picture can speak 1,000 words, some faces tell 1,000 stories. Jack Charles's face is one of them.
But you've seen where the addiction has been, in my face, you can see it. I see it anyway.
The actor is open about his time spent on the streets, in jail and in the throes of heroin addiction. But for decades he's sustained a friendship with Melbourne photographer Rod McNichol.
Every time I come out of jail, and there were many times, that's one of the first places I'd drop in and say hello. I'm back out.
After decades spent sharing the ups and downs, the two see eye to eye.
Oh, look out. Are you going crosser?
Now, Rod McNichol has taken out the National Photographic Portrait Prize at the National Portrait Gallery with a photo of his mate. Jack Charles has had a life of equal parts success and failure, and that's a story he's told in film and stage shows.
I'm stolen Jen, plucked from my mother's breast, aged 4 months in 1943. Moved into the City Mission and then moved on to the Box Hill Boys' Home. I grew up absolutely ignorant of my Aboriginal heritage.
But Jack Charles says he's happy to pose for his photographer friend well into old age.
I'm not frightened of allowing him to take images of me and my ravage-faced, growing old gracefully as it is now.
It's easy to see why the photo captured the judge's attention.
Portrait in a truly classical sense, I guess. That very sort of simple, sort of upfront composition, technically very accomplished.
The winner says the $25,000 prize will simply help him to continue in his 40-year practice of portrait photography.
When you work as an art photographer, then any money that comes in gets ploughed into your work.
The Contemporary Photography Prize doesn't deliberately set out to show a cross-section of Australian life and experience, but by accident that's what's portrayed by the 46 finalists chosen from more than 1,000 entries.
There's many and varied ways of approaching it, and that's one of the beauties, I think, of the medium, that lots of people can come at it from different points of view.
This year, older faces seem to be the flavour du jour.
Photographers are very interested in elderly subjects. It's almost as if the older you are, the more experienced you are, the more history you have, and therefore the more intriguing you are.
And the convention of photographing a single face has made way for pairs, for images that speak of family connections, deep bonds, and even loss.
It's love, family, a number of works that deal with loss and death, works dealing with illness, all of which are sort of treated in very sort of creative ways.
Some photos are heavily staged, while others are spontaneous moments captured on a whim. But they're all powerful examples of the endless possibility of photography. Flat on his back after major surgery, what was Henri Matisse to do? Well, as the master artist convalesced in wartime France, he put down his brush and picked up a pair of scissors. The end result was a stunning screen print, and it's been purchased for the National Gallery of Australia by a generous private donor. Craig Allen had a sneak peek.
From the sickbed of a master. This is the work the National Gallery of Australia's been eyeing off for decades. Oceania, the sea, came from late in Henri Matisse's career, when injury had forced the French artist to reinvent his style.
In the 40s, he was flat on his back in bed after an operation, and he couldn't paint, so he decided to start drawing with scissors, he called it, cutting out shapes and getting his assistant to pin them onto the walls of his room.
And when you see those simple shapes of the Pacific Ocean, the fish, the sponges, they are shapes that we've come to know Matisse by.
Inspired by a Tahitian coral reef, it's the companion piece to another famous Matisse screen print, Oceania, the Sky, also in the NGA's collection and currently on display in Queensland.
I saw the sister, its sister in Brisbane, and I just thought, well, the National Gallery's got to have both.
He knew that we desperately wanted it, he knew that we desperately needed it, and he just wrote out the cheque for it.
Extraordinary generosity. Tim Fairfax says a six-figure sum, although that'd be a bargain in an art world hard hit by the credit crunch.
I think it's actually got to come from here. It's fun being able to do something like this, in particular to help the National Gallery.
And there's another feel-good factor. This is one of only 30 limited edition prints made by Matisse, and it came from the artist's heart to his son, Pierre.
Well, imagine going to the theatre and being handed a pair of dark goggles to wear on your way in. An experimental theatre project in Melbourne is aiming to surprise and confront audiences by making them part of the action. It's certainly not a show where you can just sit back and relax, as Mary Gearan found out.
It has been 10,000 years since we last met. You might think that 10,000 years is a very long time, but in fact, it's no time at all. Reach out your right hand.
If you ever wished you could get more involved in a theatre experience, this could be just the ticket. It's called an immersive video goggle performance, where the audience is both observer and participant, in a world where live and recorded, self and other become blurred.
Shortly you'll be getting into the car.
It's really about giving them an experience that they couldn't get otherwise, and that they can really feel it's real, and that is very exciting.
You'll keep your arms to your sides.
With this, there is no outside world. There is just the screen. It's in front of your eyes. And with the immersive techniques that we've used, where you see yourself as somebody else, and you feel sensations that tell you that you're the character within this piece, then your focus is very, very high.
And somebody will be with you in a couple of minutes.
People who come to see And the Birds Fell from the Sky will be ushered into a small and unsettling place.
They think I'm trapped, but I'll escape.
Surrounded by images of the mysterious, anarchic Farouk clowns.
You might think that 10,000 years is a very long time, but in fact, it's no time at all.
They're little known about. They're the original clowns that all other clowns are based on, essentially. They were a tribe of people who coexisted with human beings up until about 10,000 years ago, while we were still living as hunter-gatherers.
And into this reality goes the audience, through goggles and earphones.
We're going to give you new eyes and new ears for the next 16 minutes.
Behind this show is Il Pixel Rosso, a UK-based collaboration between experimental theatre pioneer Sylvia Mercuriali and filmmaker-artist Simon Wilkinson. Their aim is to make audience members feel safe before setting them on edge. They are literally transported into a chaotic world to follow recorded instructions and become main characters themselves.
Hold out your right hand.
Without revealing all their tricks, we can say that wherever this is staged, trained theatre ushers help create a world using all the audience members' senses.
Do you remember this place at all? The last time you were here, the trees all around were burning with a fire that reached so high into the sky that the birds fell down like a rain of flaming miniature suns.
People have really enjoyed the show, most of the time very disoriented, but in a very positive way. It's like they've been through like a tumble dryer for 10 minutes and they come out like all fresh and new.
If forever were condensed into a single moment, it would be the one we're experiencing right now.
It was cool.
The work expands on techniques that Silvia Mercuriali developed over a decade with a group called Rotozaza. They called it autoteatro, instruction-based, interactive, intimate theatre in both private and public spaces.
Obviously, it's fairly intense experience to set up and to stage. But is this a sort of a trend that people are wanting more from experiences these days, more sensory, more immediate?
I think completely theatre is going that way. I think there will always be a space for a stage theatre and kind of more straightforward theatre as we know it. But more and more people, I feel, audience members, want to feel more important, want to not have just a passive role where they're sitting back and looking at somebody that's got power over them. They want to have the power themselves. They want to kind of feel completely immersed.
That was not so very long ago. Their ghosts are down there still.
Well, that's all for this episode. We'll leave you at a colourful festival in Canberra that celebrates the nation's cultural institutions by night. I'm Siobhan Henu. Join me next time for the Culture Quarter.